You're tuning in to Gone.net.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Gone.net. We're a little later of a start, but Alan, I have to say, it's not me, it's you.
No, but it was fun for the last 15 minutes watching John go insane trying to fix his mic. And it turns out I got a rogue update on this friggin' Rodecaster this week and totally killed all my settings. All of them, just gone. It looks different. Doesn't work. All of my cool sounds, like the monster sound I had, it's gone.
The monster one's gone? You had the other ones though.
I don't have any sounds except for the one that I've created to drive John nuts while he was trying to fix his mic.
I thought you had
I went and created this, and it's great.
Oh, so you don't have these presets anymore?
No, they're all gone.
Darn.
So John spent 15 minutes thinking it was his hardware, and I was routing all the sound back to him.
Yeah, so I could hear myself like delayed. Like these things have a thing where you can hear yourself real time, like wired in right into the thing. Like that's the idea, so that you don't go crazy because you can't hear yourself talking. But mine was like delayed by a second, which is not what you want, and it was coming back through.
Yeah, and John's OCD was kicking off in full effect. He was like, "I'm going nuts."
Yeah, I was, but like that would drive anybody crazy. You can't hear yourself.
Yeah, I know. It's hard. It's hard. So suffice it to say, I only have one sound effect that I had time to make during that whole 15-minute rush. So I'm a bit annoyed, but
impressed you got one out.
Yeah, I know. It's not really. I mean, it's
good
probably
job.
Easy. It's probably good for the sound pros, but we're sound stupid.
Yeah, I'm surprised they would have just taken away. Like, there must be a way to get some of those back, or somebody made some like profiles that you can load or something like that.
I did find the factory reset and all of that. The problem is that every screen you go into in this, it's like a different UI.
Yeah. And it's like, not the best UX by any means. Like, it's a nice little box for what it can do, but
anyhow, it was fun. It was fun watching John go insane, only to find out that it was actually all me. Yeah. And that makes it even more fun. So here we are.
Here we are.
So we haven't been doing a show and tell recently because we've kind of slowed down and started to focus on some other things.
Yeah.
But last week, or 2 weeks ago, because we were lazy last week, 2 weeks ago, we had this kind of crazy idea, like, because I was fighting CI issues. I mean, that's pretty much everybody's week, right? Like, new workload comes out. We can. Well, it's not John that gets the hate for workloads, but in general, workloads are bad.
Challenging.
They move forward, or something breaks in your CI. So, and then once you get by the long install of installing workloads and .NET, and then it goes into installing other things, and they fail. It's annoying. I had this crazy idea, and I proposed it to John, and John usually goes, "That's weird, man." And he piped up on this one, which usually means I have a good idea. But now we're at this part where we're building this tool. The idea is that Sherpa, so John's tool that he started, will package up all of provisioning profiles, all the Android crap, all your secrets, all of your certificates, and we want to put it in a bundle. Right? In this bundle, then we'll encrypt that. So we'll take all of this crap of some form of JSON file and base 64 files and roll them up into a ball of mud, encrypt it, and then when it goes to CI, all CI will do is run whatever we come up with, the Sherpa CLI, take this ball of mud, pull it out, install the profiles that are embedded in it, install the Android stuff that's embedded in it, etc. So, and then we talked about, okay, well, what's after that? So when we broke this down, it was three things. Set up, so which we just covered. Build, which I think is what we're on to today. And then lastly, we got a couple things to cover. And then deploy.
Yeah.
And then deploy. So the idea here is that Sherpa CLI the app, will build this whole thing, set it up the way you want it, all the secrets. You could take this, give it to another developer and know, well, hey, they can't steal stuff potentially or whatever. And they can build it locally, right? So they could run Sherpa CLI, ball of mud, this project, go.
Yep.
Right. And then you could take that, test it locally, prove it all works, right? So everything after the .NET install, and then ship it off to your CI service, and it should run the same way.
Yeah, and
So
then
that's where
you've
we're at.
got your source of truth, and like that's where you just put everything. Now, we started talking about like how. So there, a couple of things. Let me back up a step. Like I
I will
started
share my
going.
screen while you're talking.
Yeah. I started going into the app, and I was like, because I don't know if we talked about it on the show, how I'm really bad at like using the stuff that I make that I make only because I want it to make my life easier, and then I have a thing for like just building developer tools. I like making stuff better, and in theory, I the motivation is I want it to be better for myself, and in practice, I don't end up doing.
He never uses
I
it.
never use the stuff. I mean, I do kind of, but I never like fully do it. So I'm like, no, this time I'm gonna like set up my all of my stuff in Sherpa for pool math. I'm gonna get it there to be the source of truth. And then we started talking about, well, yeah, we don't really have like today a way to like organize secrets and stuff in Sherpa very well. Like if you go to the secrets page in there.
Hang on, where's
Oh, you're
the
gonna
demo?
blur that.
Yeah,
Yeah, right
I was
there.
going to turn on my demo mode. There we go.
Good job.
Okay.
So you go to
if
the
we
secrets page. Well, you seem to have a lot of them. And
Yeah,
you've loaded
it's
them
gonna
all
take
from
a second.
Azure. So we have it. Oh, that doesn't. You're gonna have to rev something.
yeah,
Secret mode didn't take effect for you there.
No, it did. It's because I put the secrets out in the open too, so I can copy and paste them.
Whoops.
All right, whatever.
That's okay. You can go delete those.
Yeah.
So organizing secrets is kind of a pain for a bunch of different projects. Like the first thing I did was I went to start setting up secrets. I'm like, well, these are all pool math, but what about this other app that I want to put stuff in there for? So right away I'm like, well, we need folder organization. So there's a pull request to Sherpa right now that does a few different things. One of them is to add folder support so that you can kind of organize your secrets as you so choose to. The other one, a part of that same PR, is to add a local vault storage. So you are loading stuff from Azure Key Vault. I use in physical. There's a couple other providers in there, right? But those you all have to set up. And if your goal is to like have everything stored on your machine in a way that you can easily like put it into CI or transfer between machines, maybe you don't want a cloud provider because you have to set that up, right? So there's an option now to use a cloud provider. I think for secrets, I like that just fine because I can kind of move those back and forth. I'm not sure if I want to do that for everything that I do yet, but that's fine. You can choose what you want to do because you have the options now after that PR merges. But the idea was that the secrets, like, because we talked about ultimately your secrets are in the cloud. When we create that export, that ball of mud to send to your CI, should it pull down those secrets and create like a mutable mud ball,
Yes.
right? Or should it create a mud ball that knows how to go pull those secrets down and do it that way? And I think there's pros and cons to both ways. Probably the biggest con is like, then you're putting in that ball of mud, like
The keys to the car,
keys to the
to
other
everything.
stuff. Yeah.
The keys to the kingdom, so to speak, exist
Yeah,
as
so, like,
opposed to just the keys.
That's not ideal. And thinking through the keys that you put in there, the only thing that is like, what do you do? So like, let's go through a hypothetical. We put that, we take a snapshot of that mutable state and put it in the ball of mud. What are the things in there that if your ball of mud became unlocked by someone you didn't want, what are the things in there that would be hard to rotate or hard to change?
I have unfortunately, so Sentry DSN is not going to be the end of the world, right?
No, that's fine. Like
I do see
that's public anyway because it's in your client app, right? So,
I have seen some less than ideal apps
I'm not even talking like stuff that gets into an app as much as so.
Oh, I am. Hang on.
That too, but like, what about your Android key store? If that gets,
Who cares?
If somebody gets that, then they
Your,
can.
your provisioning profile and the Apple cert is a bit more problematic, and as is your push, which that's
Well,
not
push
good.
you can invalidate those, right? I'm trying to think of like what are the tokens that are
So-
hard to invalidate, and I
but-
think Keystore is the only one that comes to mind.
Right, but there is a case. So like, let's think we put a secret in here, right? I see people do this. They have
Yeah,
like this
yeah.
stupid handshake token for the URLs, like it's going to protect them. I've seen AI tokens. We've talked about that a
Yeah.
bajillion times. Don't put, because if you build it, if you put it in the box, then it means sure you can invalidate it, but everything stops working in your app, right? So everybody's building on AI. You should probably make AI more of an addition to your app right now based on cost. But anyhow, if you put that in the box, you invalidate it, everything around it is toast in your app until you put out a new version. So, it's not the end of the world. Yes, you can recover, but your app is broken. Now you have to force updates.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter. Whatever key you put in that has some sort of context to it.
Well, anything you put in that ends up in your app, like actually built into your app that you're distributing, that's not a key. That like at that point, like that's a publicly available value.
Yes.
So you better make sure. So like I guess one thought here while we build this is how do we make it? We always use the stupid term. How do we make people fall into the pit of success? How do we make it so? Yeah, I know. How do we make it so that it's not easy to misunderstand where things are going? And because one other idea is, can we also use this ball of mud to do things for your app that go into the app, right? And so I think if we take it to that extent, we probably have to think a little bit about how to not let users shoot themselves in the foot so easily by like accidentally putting all of their like these production values into the like app config or something stupid.
Well, then let's go back a step here, because when we were talking last week, we were talking about deploy setup.
Yeah.
So I think here we have now minus the variables for a second, only the provisioning profiles, everything that's setup. Variables, these are not really, these are build, right? So ideally, we almost need to think about it like, do we have a setup section in this? Because I know you've wanted to consider this for like native, right? So a native app could come in here, set up all their key stores and stuff, their ball of mud with just the setup variables, run Sherpa CLI, ball of mud, setup only, right? And so it'll do all this setup, and then they can run their normal like Xcode build or Android build, and then even use Sherpa again after that to do a Sherpa deploy. Right?
I wonder though if we are mixing up balls of mud that we shouldn't be, and like that maybe scoping this to just the purpose of I'm trying to build my app from, you can call it from CI, or you can say like I'm trying to just use this as a mutable state to build my app with the things that it needs, less so share this out to your other developer team members, because I think there's probably...
Yeah, we'll come back. Let's leave
Yeah.
that out, because the way I think about it is like, okay, you'd be giving them the keys to the world anyways to be able to deploy. So you're right.
Yeah.
We need to come back to that one. So I'm focusing more on this is the so th- I'm going to be greedy here. This is for me. I'm thinking in terms of my needs, right?
So setup is like your keys and stuff that you're going to need to build with. Build
Yep.
is the stuff that you need to build, but will also be like are you so that's like going into your app. Like that's like your
They
build
might have-
variables go into the app.
Prod or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. Right? So
You've already
that.
got the environment up top, so I would say probably, although you might have different like, I don't like environment there.
No, neither. It was a thought.
Yeah. And then deploy is specifically because we did
don't
talk
have
about
environment.
scoping only like setting variables and secrets even on the steps that need the specific thing, right? Because you don't need to run if you've got your workflow broken up into different like steps, you don't need the Google deploy key when you're building the app, and you might not
Right.
even deploy anyway.
So, and that's why if we come to those 3 steps,
Yeah,
right? Like I said, variables you don't need unless you're building, right? Because they're not going into your setup. At deploy, it's a little more static, right? Like I need the Google channel key or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then on iOS, I need
you need like your P8 and whatever your App Store Connect
Right.
credentials.
so you need a couple of those variables. I don't think I've ever deployed to the Windows Store, so I'm not even going to go into that one. Mac OS is more or less the same thing. Sure, it's going to be a different password and profile, probably. Anyhow, so if we split this up into the 3 sections, and we've got our CLI, so we wanted CLI to be Sherpa CLI, the project bundle, so Sherpa bundle. Environment was the scope of, hey, I've got production, I might have development, make whatever you want, doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're all just keys, right? Like I think
Right.
every layer here is a key, and you're just going to be the one that has to like.
So we're going to have a schema of some sort, right?
Yeah.
And then platform is bonus. If you don't put platform, we do all of them. If you put platform, we do Android or iOS or Windows or whatever we're going to do. So you have all of the options. And then we have the 3rd step now, which is step.
Yeah,
And we'll say that's
yeah.
setup, build, deploy. Right? And then we can validate at that point to say, well, yeah, we see you want to deploy Windows, but you don't have the deploy keys that we need, right? Or you don't have, I don't know, whatever we decide. So this schema is going to be pretty stacked. The build, I don't know. I don't know what else we have to add there. So we were going to talk about this point today. I think we've got an understanding of the steps we need to do in terms of building this schema. We've got global variables. We've got variables across all platforms. Then we've got variables across the actual build.
Yep.
And we've said that they override from as you get down further.
Yeah. Lowest scope kind of wins.
And if it's not there, then we take the highest scope, the next scope up.
Yeah.
So
like NuGet configs or something.
So we've got that figured out. We've now set up the last thing I think we had to cover is, I don't know what you were implying by this, and I don't know how it would even work. You had mentioned that I might have multiple key stores, and I do know the one point is like if you've got a notification, no, not a notification extension. The
widget.
The widget.
Yeah.
Then you have
that
a
was what made me think of
widget.
it.
So we need now.
I think what you do there is you just have another item in there that is key store, and then it's a collection or like an array of key store, key alias, key password, whatever.
And we just send them all. So,
Yeah.
but then setup would just be
Yep.
right.
Yeah. The only
Sorry,
thing is you might.
Let me go to iOS and make sure we're doing this in the right spot. So setup,
Yeah.
and then this is going to be the array of this, and it might
No. Well,
the
setup
provisioning
is still,
prof.
I guess multiple setup nodes as opposed to multiple. What else is in setup besides that? Is maybe a better.
I don't
question.
think anything. Like, what else could there be in setup here?
I know. I'm trying to think. Yeah, maybe there's not.
Maybe. Even build, I've got this variables breakdown. Maybe we don't need that either. Although, you know what, as I think about build, maybe like configuration.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
could be release or build, release or debug. I don't know why you'd ever send. I just had this debate today with somebody. I was like, you can't install a debug artifact for mobile. So like, I know some people do their own.
Some people, yeah, don't,
and it
don't
freaks
don't
up
do that.
everything.
Don't
So
do your own.
What's your term, John? What's the management term?
Simplify.
No,
I don't know.
set up for
push everyone into the pit of success.
Yeah, let's push them into the pit of
You
success.
just shove them right into the pit of success.
So we'll remove that.
So happy.
That's got to be a David Ortnow term, right?
I don't even know if it is. I might have used it myself more than I should have. But I don't know. I just it's here.
I can call out the terms when you say them, so you know that you're saying them if you want.
I mean, I
Low-hanging
already
fruit.
kind of know. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have
course.
the management terms down, bud. So bad. So bad.
So, yeah. Before we move on, I'm still not sure if I think that's the right way, because like setup is such a generic thing. I feel like
So
we have certificates and we have provisioning profiles, and those are different items that are that have arrays.
So then let's do that, right? We'll do
Because you might not have you might have multiple certificates, but not multiple provisioning profiles, or maybe vice versa is a better example.
so if we do this is
Yeah.
what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
And then,
dump those into there, and yeah.
So we need
And I don't think we need any other fields for provisioning profile, because we can extract the information from it that we need. Like we can extract if it's ad hoc or whatever. Yeah.
well, does that even matter? I mean, really,
It might not. It might not.
so we've got that, and then profile will also. I'm putting content so we know it's like base 64.
Yeah.
Base 64 content or value. I don't know, whatever.
Sure.
So then we know those are arrays,
Yep.
and then this should cover widget and standard stuff. Good enough. Okay.
So we're not going to go into detail about it today, but the other thing that I think we should consider in this whole set of things is, can we also help with, I'm going to call it provisioning, because you've already used the word setup.
Okay.
Can we help by, we'd probably need to know what .NET SDK or whatever you want to use. That needs to maybe be there. But can we help you figure out if you have like the right Xcode or the right Xcode selected, depending what your app is wanting? And can we install Android SDK stuff? So that's a whole different, that's like its own, it could be its own.
That's almost version 2. Yeah.
Yeah. But I want to make sure as we go through this that we're not like painting ourselves into any corners that would preclude us from kind of doing that as a next step.
And I think that's because, so if we go to build, right, we could say Xcode version. Let them pick it, right?
You could.
So we could
no, I don't want that. See, that's the problem. No, I don't want to pick it there. I want it inferred from the other stuff. I want to give you all of the information. I want to give you my app. I want you to figure out the hard parts for me.
All right. So first things first.
So we can talk about that part later.
So the build is going to be for .NET. We're not worried about Xcode build. We're not worried about, like, we're going to focus on MAUI for this part, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
But again, like, let's not like exclude being able to do it others later.
Well, I mean, we can always adjust the schema.
Yep.
Right. So for now, setup, we've got covered. That gets everybody. If we do that right, the way we've got it set up, it should hit the native cases as well as like Flutter and all that crap. Deploy, same thing, because it's deploying an IPA or an APK or an AAB, doesn't matter. So build is the only one where we're kind of, I don't say we're going to paint each other in the corner. We can't solve world peace, but we can say this is going to be from MAUI app.
You might want you might want build providers or something like that eventually, right? And the only one we're doing right now is MAUI.
It technically the only one we're doing is maybe .NET, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So we're focused on .NET. This could technically build anything. Why it would, I don't know.
And I think as we progress that, like maybe the schema extends eventually to add what like framework or whatever you're doing, so that it knows, the tool would know how to do something. But yeah, for now I don't think we care.
I don't think we want to worry about Xcode version yet. I don't even know how we would infer that.
Oh yeah, we can infer that.
Now the other thing, well, the Sherpa CLI can be self-contained, so we don't need .NET to be installed for Sherpa CLI.
Right, but you would need to know if we're building a MAUI app to know that we do need to install .NET to do that. But Sherpa can also, like, eventually down the road, we could have it do that. We whatever.
We can have Sherpa build the CI. Well, the whole goal of this was that we didn't really have to build much of a CI script, right? Like it was going to be, I think we decided that it would be triggers, VM, and then checkout, setup.net, Sherpa CLI, right?
Yeah. The I think the part that makes me interested in this space is that a lot of the feedback that we have gotten recently, but also just over time, is that it's a challenge to make sure that your CI is kind of that you're keeping up with things that, like, you know, maybe you don't know that you need the newer Xcode version because your app now uses a newer .NET version. Maybe you should have pinned the .NET version. Like, there's all these kind of nuanced details that, I mean, you should know, but at the same time, again, I'd rather try and make people more successful just out of the box if we can. Having said that,
John likes automatic. I don't always like automatic.
Well, I like automatic with the ability to set overrides and be explicit where you want to be, but I want it always to, I don't want it to fail on trying to do the build. Well, we could already have told them it's not going to work because you don't have the right Xcode version, like earlier in the process, and giving a better experience of how you receive that messaging and what to do about it.
And technically, one of our goals for this is for it to work. If it works here, it should work in CI. So in order to do that, then we have to do some sort of inferral.
Yeah. So I like the idea of trying to, like, we can figure that all out. So that all spawns, like, the way that you go down that decision tree or that information tree is you got to have a .NET version first. And so we can make some implicit defaults if you don't have one. And this is the only part where it gets a little kind of chicken and egg, because to make an implicit default selection, we probably need to at least look at the project that you're going to build, right? Because if you have a net 10 TFM, we don't want to give you a default of a net 9 SDK. And usually that all works out anyway. But like, if we're in a weird state where maybe you tried the preview version, you know, we would need to be like, dude, you're net 11. Like, this just isn't even going to be an option to even go through the process of setting the rest of the stuff up. So in theory, yeah, if you had that information, let's assume we're putting it in here for now. The ultimate goal would be to infer those versions, because we can.
Can we?
Yeah, we can.
Can we?
Sure. We can infer there's a few different ways, right? Because you can have it in your code in a global JSON file. That makes it really easy to infer. You could not have a workload version anywhere, and then we just have to kind of assume that we're going to give you the latest one if you don't have an explicit suggestion for what you want.
I don't.
And then,
just while you're saying that, I don't really want to do this. I don't want to do. If we're going to do this, the .NET version and workload version should probably be at the top. I don't want to have to be doing this.
we're not gonna. I would say it. No, it's not. We're not putting those versions in there ultimately. That will be. We'll calculate that. I don't want you. I mean, you could have the override if you really want to say, like, yeah, I want to put that in this particular file and have this file dictate it. Fine. But my goal would be to figure it out based on your project and or a global JSON in your actual source code. And then once we have that information, we can figure out if you also were explicit about the workload version that goes along with that. If not, fine, we'll go get the newest one that works with that SDK version that we've maybe also implicitly figured out a version. Like if you don't specify anything and your project is net 10 TFM, I'm going to go get net 10 latest SDK for you and assume that's what you want. And if you haven't done the workload, I'm going to go get the latest workload that works with that SDK version and assume that's what you want. And then from the workload, we can go figure out what Xcode version you should pair with it, et cetera, et cetera. So it's all doable. I think we want that in mind, but we're probably not going to actually do that today. And I think that would become part of the build step. Is that what we called it? Yeah. Right, because you're going to, at that point, build your MAUI app. So before we actually build your MAUI app, we would need to go install that crap for you.
Now, this is where it could go at the top. Then it's not.
You don't need SDK version in there either. That's another
Because we're
one
going to
we'll just
apply
do.
that.
Yep.
Okay.
Like make your project the source of truth for those things if you have opinions on what they should be.
Okay, so we've got iOS covered, right? We know what we need for iOS. Do we need multiple key stores for Android?
Yeah, possibly.
How?
Because I think you can still do like APKs embedded, and I think those could in theory be signed differently.
All right. I don't know about this one, John. Store content. Let's call it content. Alias. Key. Let's keep it key, alias, and password. That's more. I don't know. Okay.
We can change our minds later. For now, I like the idea. And I'd rather go that way because worst case, you've got 2 extra characters and we didn't back ourselves into a corner. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, Vern.
Yeah. Yes. It's funny when you like say those things in front of your kids and they're just like, what?
Yeah, what's
What
wrong
are
with
you
you?
talking about?
You're old enough to know Ernest
Yeah.
P. Worrell.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to I still don't know how we're going to infer that. I don't know how we're going to infer. This one's not as hard. So how do we figure out what .NET SDK is going to be installed?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So we will have to look to see if you have a global JSON in your space, right? So that's easy enough to resolve. If you do, and you have opinions about what .NET thing to put there, then it's easy. We basically just run the installer and say like, go use this global JSON as the thing to figure out what to install. Which is how you used to. I know we talked about this last time where they maybe changed it a bit, but it's how you used to be able to do the setup.NET step. That's what I would generally tell people is like put the thing you want there, because the other nice thing if you're using global JSON is if you do happen to go install another version of .NET or a preview or something, your global JSON is the thing that keeps your project that you're working on working with the thing that you were expecting to use, right? The same version.
Okay.
So
okay. So this it makes sense. So I think I got the note right. Infer build, look for global JSON, or look at the TFM, install the latest.
That
whatever.
one will be.
Then
Yeah.
you could infer Xcode version. Can we infer it though, or do we have to build something on our end to say?
No. Well, we have to. There's
We'll have
already
to build some.
There's
key-
already code in Sherpa to do it. So
Okay.
it goes in. So the order is SDK
You'll need to do 0-day updates then.
from the SDK. You can figure out which workload set version you want to use or you should use, and that again that can either be in your global JSON if you want to be explicit about which one you're using, or since we know the .NET version, we can go say, well, what's the newest workload set for that given SDK version and SDK band, right? So like your 10.0 300, well, the latest, we can go figure out what the latest version of the workload set is for that.
Okay.
From the workload set, you get the actual workload IDs and versions that belong to that set. And from those, and those are like the workload manifest package IDs and versions and stuff. From that, you can go get the workload manifest for each workload that is described in there. And inside of each workload manifest package is the workload versions JSON file that has all of the information, like which Xcode version, what are the requirements for that, what are the requirements for Android API levels, etc.
Okay.
So we have it all. This is something I had been building towards like for a year plus now.
And then when
to be able to do
workloads
this.
and then when workloads die, because they're going to die, right? They're going to die.
I mean, we're gonna look at them again. I can't say for sure either way.
Death to workloads.
It depends. I mean, the challenging thing is they're in a space. I know they're still not no pain, but they're definitely less pain than they were.
I have an idea how we'll do this.
I'll keep talking like this every week until you get rid of workloads. And I know people will support this.
We're going to look at it. It's all priorities and whatnot.
If I could do my demon voice, it'd be death to workloads.
It's all there's a lot of nuance to the discussion, unfortunately.
Indeed.
But
okay, so we have workloads. We can infer all that stuff. We know we're going to pass in the project, right? Did we decide that? Are we going to pass in the solution file or the CS proj? Or are we going to put that in the box?
I think we pass it in, if anything. I was just trying to decide if we are so strict that we require it, which maybe is probably the right thing to do.
Okay. So then what is left for build? If we're inferring, we're doing global JSON or looking at the CS proj, what is left for build? Not a lot. Just the variables. As far as I can't think of anything else. We said no to configuration because it's useless in mobile.
When we say variables, are we considering that as
secrets?
Well,
this is
not secrets, but like stuff that goes in configuration.
Right. So Sentry DSN, your API base URL.
So my thought is maybe we also need to add, for the purposes of MS Build, like, are there other like properties that you would want to pass in, right? Do you have an opinion in this profile of how what like AOT toggles you want to set or not, and that kind of stuff? Because those aren't like configuration variables; they're build time properties.
I don't know that I would ever set those externally, though.
You would put them all in your project and just
AOT
make sure
stuff,
that you make sure that.
Because I'm often having to test with AOT, like it goes into the CS proj because I'm specifically always testing with
but
it.
Even if you do that, do you not ever have times where you might want to build with a particular property that that you use as a condition for a bunch of other junk? Like, are you like if we're just release, like, I feel like sometimes I toggle things around. I guess I can do it in the project. I don't know. I'm just trying to think if it's helpful to have that exposed, because why not?
I mean, I think about custom entitlements quite often, right? So custom entitlements is something I put in CS proj because you don't need, the crap that is the entitlements plist file, right? Mm-hmm. So usually, I mean, you don't have a ton of options there, right? Like for release, you really want to point it towards your production push, right? So your production push APN. Yeah. If you're in development, well, you really only get sandbox. Why they even let you set that, I'm not entirely sure, but those are based on debug and production values, release, right? And it's based solely off the config. So
do you ever do a matrix of builds that you might want to, let's say you're white labeling an app or something?
I might, and then that would probably
be a different profile,
but that would be under a different environment, right?
Yeah.
And we've got that covered because we've said, this is a dictionary, so that the environment has, you could call this white label, right? The environment is white label or company A.
Yep.
And it takes in all of this and deploys it as that, right?
And most of that would be different enough. I'm trying to think too. Do you want to repeat stuff enough? Version.
Well, I don't know if I want to put this in here. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
But
you need a way to pass that in. Is kind of where we're arriving at.
because this, so you might end up with like my app dev, for example, or well, we wouldn't put prod there.
Well, I
but
think
you know what
even
I mean?
version is enough of a because app. You could argue app name is maybe tied to the profile, like production or company A or whatever, right? But app version is going to be a lot more dynamic because you don't want that hard
Those are
coded
moving.
here. Because the version, like I calculate my version based on like git commit distance and stuff like that, right? So
we
it
almost
needs, yeah,
need-
exactly. That's where I was going.
MS build.
Yeah.
What is it? Application version, right? It's the equals.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even think I can do this. I can do this, right? I
well,
don't think so. I don't think so.
We'll need to like come up with a format for like, you could do, yeah, you can do it. Do MS build and then colon and then quote, right? So put a quote before application version, and then you can equals whatever you want, and then we'll extract out.
So you're thinking this is like
You're kind of nesting, yeah. So you can have multiple
gross.
MS build.
oh, gross.
Eh.
I hate it. I hate it, John. I don't like it.
Well, I would even do. You could even just simplify it and be like MS build args or something, and then it's just a string of stuff you pass in for MS build. Because that gives you
TBD.
raw access to it.
TBD. I don't like it.
Yeah, but we'll have to do something
So
like this.
okay, so we know that. So we don't want to get this here.
No.
Maybe
App name you might do, but again, like that could be because this is all hard coded.
So, then what if we do? What if we do this? What if we do this? If you want to do it, you could do it. Doesn't mean it's right, but you can do it.
Well, you can do it. Yeah, that's fine too, and I think it doesn't hurt to have the option. Yeah, there you go. Fine. Although you would still need to like MS build. Does that mean properties or item group items or what? Right? Because you can set a bunch of different crap from the command line. So you might just need. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So you could do that. I lost my train of thought for the command line part of it. It's fine.
Well, you want to do something like this. We can always come back to that.
Yeah,
That's-
I think we have to.
We
do
have to pass something.
You have to pass stuff that's dynamic based on the build.
Or if you want to be not ideal, I mean, application name doesn't shift around a lot. Like I said, obviously, if this was a dev environment, I've seen a lot of this. Application ID.
The other thing that I know you had this thought for maybe a different part, but you could do like a whole kind of variable substitution here too. So like MS build properties make sense, but maybe you have application version in there, but it's like a placeholder variable name, and then on the command line you pass in variables.
You pass in the override to it.
Yeah.
So we got to do this as well. Variable, and this would be the lowest common denominator. Oh god.
Well, it has to be.
Name equals blah.
Is it variable or is it
Variables.
No. I mean like a substitution, because variables has a specific meaning in your schema already here.
So if we do name equals, or if
It's
you
like
say-
replace or something like that.
well, it'd be the lowest common denominator. We would say this is the lowest common denominator, right? So it's below.
Yeah, but how do you now use that variable in the JSON?
Oh, that's easy because this will take. So that if we did this here,
Yeah.
it would be here. Make it more explicit.
But then you have a variable.
Hello
But how do
world.
you then for an MS build property say use this variable as the value?
Okay, so MS build is still this, right? The variable is like the build into the app settings or
Yeah, I was trying to
Or
make
the
it more
code.
generic so that you didn't have like MS build specific command line things.
I think you got to separate them because they are two different
Well,
things.
you can. So what I've done in the past with this kind of thing is like in MS build properties, although it gets weird with scope and in order. Like you could say the application version is like in MS build properties, you could say not up there, like in the actual script, right?
No, I know. I was
You
just
could
saying.
say application version is $$ variable : whatever, some better syntax, but you get the idea.
There. Oh, see, AI figured it out. Sorry, I was just typing my thought. Keep going.
Yeah, no, I'm I don't know. I think this area needs a little bit more thought to keep it clean and not get too crazy.
I think honestly, for my use case, these would be two separate things. Honestly, like it doesn't stop me from doing my own.
No.
variable here.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying, how do you? I would almost rather have in there for like just go through the exercise here with me. Make another MS Build property entry there called application version.
Okay.
Like type it up so we see it. And then in that value, put, I don't know, $, bracket. No, not, yeah, sure, fine. Well,
Was that?
yeah,
Or you
fine.
think
That's fine. And then go up to the top where you have the comments about like the CLI invocation. And now you add another dash variable build version. Not anything MS build. No, not there. Don't do. Just get rid of that MS build completely from there.
Okay.
And then in its place, put dash variable : quote 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, variable build version equals 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Whatever you used on
application
build number.
version.
Build number is what you used. Lowercase b, uppercase n.
Oh, I see what you're trying to do.
Yes.
No. Well,
I'm just,
Well-
I don't know if I love it either. I'm just saying, I'm trying to clean it up so that we don't introduce like specific stuff to the command line that is like MS build property. Because then you get into like this, like if you keep that specific stuff in the schema, it's easier to keep extending than adding all these new command line properties and stuff.
or CLI variable. I don't know what we're going to call it. I don't have a good name yet.
I think it's either it's a variable but variable is maybe not right because then you end up including it also in your variables. Yeah, it's some other name, but that's the idea. It's like a substitution. Yeah.
Ooh.
So yeah, instead
I
of
mean,
build,
this one is something we could build after the fact too.
can
right?
you just it is, but can you just to make it correct so it's not confusing later? It's not build version, it's lowercase b and then number.
Build number.
Yeah, just so we don't get confused and look back like what?
What the hell was I doing? Okay, so the dollar.
Yeah, I don't know if I like this. I don't know if this is the way, but I want to try to avoid. I'd rather extend the schema at the JSON level than introduce like framework platform specific things at the command line parameter level, if that makes sense.
It does. I think that these two things
Those two are separate. I agree.
Okay. Because this to me is going in my app
That's
settings.
going in the app. The other
code.
one is used to help build the app for
Okay.
MS Build specifically, but like you could
I mean,
imagine Flutter doing this something different too.
This can work if we add that build number because normally it would be like that, right? And then that gives it just means that they've got to deploy that new Sherpa bundle more frequently.
Or they calculate the whole version outside of this but they still pass it in this way, right? Like
right.
You don't
So
need
they
to
could do application version, which just gets rid of this,
exactly.
or they could set the build number, in which case this gets parsed in. So
Yep.
it gives you both options. So you just have to
Yeah,
come up with
you
a
can
name.
make that whole string application version and just pass the whole calculated thing in.
And then you could even do it here, right? So the
Sure.
goal would be
Yeah.
we go looking for that and we
Yep.
replace the ball of mud with that variable.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
I think the mechanism is good and sound. I think the naming, I agree. I don't know what the right name is.
Build, I don't know. Code replacement variables. I don't know.
No, well, not even like in that part. Like just like what's the CLI? The
that we
CLI
can
parameter name.
The point is if we get the schema figured out, right? If we decide on what the schema looks like, which I think we're
Close.
I can't think of anything. We'll get to deploy in a second. I think that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
But if we've got all of these covered, right, then the command line is just a case of figuring it out, right? Like, what do we want to call this? I don't even think this is valid syntax, John. I think this is bad. That sure
having
as hell bad.
spaces in there is not great.
Yeah, well, I'm getting there. But this stupid thing, it looks ugly.
No,
as
that's
hell.
fine. That works. That's reasonable.
Oh yeah, it's a string.
Yeah.
It just looks ugly as hell. It's not right.
Doesn't really bother me.
It does. I know it does. It bothers me. So if it bothers me, it's going to bother you.
No, it doesn't bother. I'm fine with it.
I don't.
And then because we do that kind of stuff in other places, I feel like I experience that kind of stuff all the time, and it's fairly normal. I just don't like CLI variable, but I don't know what the name is yet.
Well, yeah. Well, that the
that's
thing
fine.
is we
It's
can
like-
change that to whatever.
It's
And
like
I-
a reference or a token or string replacement or something.
I'm not even sure I like the name variables now because it really is like a search
Yeah.
and replace.
Well,
So the goal with that I'm thinking of here is that it's going to go looking for like it's going to go
that's
in the code,
configuration.
looking for like hello and replace it with Android world build number, right? Like it's gonna go do that. That's my thinking. It's gonna rip through CS files. It's gonna rip through.
So you're thinking of this one
at
more as a
JSON.
replacement too, and that, yeah, I guess my initial
replace tokens.
Well, sure. I guess my original thought was that you were tying that more just to like straight to like configuration, but
No.
that doesn't
Well, but it
make sense
could.
in the broader. It could, yeah. That's one way you could consume it, I suppose.
Because you could, like, I've seen people use an in memory and go I configuration, whatever, and put it in an in memory dictionary. Why? I don't know. But,
Yeah.
I'm not here to judge. The replace tokens is pretty much what everybody uses that in ASP.NET, right? So it hits your because you have to have some sort of configuration in ASP.NET. Even people are like, no, I just use secrets. You have to have one thing there. One. You need to know where to go get your secrets. Even if you still always have to have an app settings JSON.
Yeah.
Just one.
Well, and
So-
I don't. Yeah.
and
I
logging.
mean, you can
Base
do it
logging.
as you can do it in code. You can do it as an in memory.
Yeah, I guess environment variables too.
Yep.
All right.
I was
fine.
gonna say I don't always have a file, so like replacing it in a file, I think is a fine.
If you've got an app
function to
settings
have?
JSON, you're going to use this, right? If you're doing a Docker deploy or whatever, you're going to be doing environment variables. So
Yeah.
either way, I should also spell that right too. Android world. So that's what I'm thinking goes here is variables are, we'll call them replace tokens then.
Yeah.
It's more explicit.
The only so then the CLI, because we almost have like the replace token for a replace token, if that makes sense. Although maybe we don't need to even. Like maybe then at this point I was thinking about it at a different layer that I needed to.
Star. Right?
Well, because instead of having a separate parse var, does it just become a replace token and we replace the replace tokens? It's almost like recursive.
No, I think that's where it gets crazy. So if we go by the schema, this is like, or we call this variable.
Yeah, actually, I don't hate that.
And then that actually going to set the variable, go in and find this crap and replace it.
Yeah.
And then replace tokens stay exactly what we're calling them with the parse variable being passed, or just the variable being passed in.
Yep. So
There we
you
go.
calculate those first, and then I don't dislike that at all.
All right. So I think we've got our base set up for replace tokens, MS build properties, key stores, all the stuff. So I can finalize that. What about deploy? I cannot see how we would ever need multiples for an environment in deploy. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
How? Deploy to multiple areas?
I'm trying to decide how I would want to approach this with my stuff. So my thought is not for iOS necessarily. For Android, I might push to different tester
Firebase.
channels or different test platforms, whatever. Might push to Firebase. I might push to the Play Store.
Firebase, Play Store channels. We have to always push to a channel set to App Center. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but that could be the idea, is that you might want to push it, or like I might build my Android app and push it to Amazon and Play Store.
Oh, Amazon as well.
I don't, but in theory I could.
That could be that we could. Okay, so you're thinking providers here, right? So we could
Kinda, yeah.
This is one we could. Okay,
Providers
so-
and channels, though, right? A provider
yes.
could have multiple channels in theory.
So, oh, hang on, we're in iOS though.
But then, yeah. So for iOS, though,
iOS,
you could
no.
argue the same. Well, you could. You can use Firebase for that too.
No, it's just nobody. You should not use Firebase.
I'm
for
just
iOS.
saying.
No.
I'm not gonna
Oh, I hate that.
presume.
Set them up for to
can
fall
use
into the pit of
Bitrise.
success. The test flight is the only way to send apps. I'm sorry.
No. So listen,
Firebase is
listen.
a waste of time.
I don't know. Yes, Firebase I hate. I don't like any of the other ones. However, TestFlight, as you know, does not allow you to add testers who are not over a certain age.
Yeah, we've had that pain.
So
lately.
I've used
But
other providers to just be able to deploy to my kids' devices.
I also just plug my kids' devices in
No, I
and press
don't.
F5.
I don't, because I don't even want to touch their screens.
Oh well, you tell them plug this wire in and leave it. No.
No.
Keep in mind that's a John use case. Okay, that's a John.
I'm just
case.
saying that it's not out of the question that people will do this, and so we have to allow for the space to do it.
I don't think we're setting them up for the pit of success.
Well, the pit of no. So the whole idea of the pit of success is that if they are looking for where to go, that you shove them into it. If they're telling you, I'm going to this other pit, I know I'm going there, I don't care what you say, that's their own problem. They can jump into their own pit of spikes if they want. You know, just as I say that, I have the visual of the very old first version of Prince of Persia. You know, when you miss the jump and you
And
fall
you
on
went
the
down to
spikes.
the spikes and
Yeah.
it went straight up your ass. I don't know.
You have to. You have to. Why close the door?
Because I think it's stupid. I think that's
It
a
doesn't
fail.
matter. It doesn't matter.
I hate anybody deploying to Firebase. Enjoy life.
Yeah, that's fine.
Why are you fighting? Why are you
They
fighting
they
life?
can go jump in that pit if they want. The point
Then they're
is like
falling
the
into the pit of
default
fail.
is no. But the pit of success is not about the choice of the pit. If you've chosen the wrong pit, that's on you. If you don't know which pit to choose, we want to push you into the right pit.
So one of the things, and I know I'm quoting to the wrong choir here. So being a non-Microsoft open source developer, I can put in my documentation, you can do this and don't. How many people do you think actually still do it? And then I'm
sure.
like, I said don't. And then they're like, well, why did you even allow it, you asshole? And I'm like, okay. So, you know, so
Yeah,
sometimes I just choose to be like, I'm not going to solve this for you until you say, give me a good reason.
I get that. I do.
You're only because I will never use anything other than test flight.
That's fine.
I
You
like
don't
my
have
life.
to.
I like
you
my
don't
life.
even have to look at the other options. You just have to use the one that you want.
Okay, but then we have to. Somebody has. Well, AI is going to be burning some tokens. You going to melt
That's
the ocean
fine.
on this one?
Yeah.
So okay. So what are the other deployment options that you must have?
Let's say, you need Firebase. You have to. No, so because the problem is the other part of the pit of success is if you look at it from another dimension, which is
John's got his manager hat on.
yeah,
There it is.
they're gonna do everything else with this, and then they're gonna be like, well, we use Firebase, so I can't use this at all. Now I'm still back to square one. This sucks.
They don't have to use deploy.
Yeah, I know, but
They
still.
don't have to use deploy
That's
because
still-
we've got setup,
Listen,
build, deploy.
listen. So the way that we do this is we build it out such that it can be extended to add other providers, but we don't worry about those to start. As long as we allow for the expansion, for the ability to add them later, I'm happy. We don't have to put them in first. That's fine.
Okay. I've left good comments for you. You probably can't see them because
I can.
Oh, okay.
I can.
All right. So, okay, we can do that. So we'll make this a multiple. We'll make this, would this be an array? This would be an array again.
Yep.
Okay.
That's all I'm asking for is 2 more characters.
Is it really though?
Well,
It's
no,
not-
it sounds better that way.
Oh, you're asking. So right now it's really only going to be, so then we're going to have this crap. Oh, look at frig. It's figured it out.
What? Let's see what it suggests next. Do another one, and just to see. I got to see what it's going to do. Firebase, you know it.
Oh, you want to see
If you type like another entry.
Yeah, but hang on. No. It's reading this. It's reading this.
Doesn't matter.
No, it's
it
reading
did it.
that because
Doesn't matter.
it's
Doesn't
giving
matter.
you your say. Because I put John wants useless Firebase. Insert Y meme here.
I don't.
Right,
I don't
so
even
it's been
care.
like,
I just had to see it happen. All right, what's the third hockey app? Is it still going to think about?
I don't know how it could, but
It's still a thing. App Center.
App Center.
Yeah.
Okay,
We
let's-
don't have to support that one because that one
No,
is
it
not.
doesn't
around.
even exist. Okay, well, Play Store. How is that going to work for iOS? See, AI is dumb sometimes. This is why our original episode started as, this is why you still need the human in the middle.
Well, and look, we went a whole episode without even using AI, really.
Well, up until now,
Well,
and
but
then
that
you tried
doesn't
to
even
give it
count. Well, that
props
doesn't even
for siding with you, but it really didn't. It sided with my comment saying insert useless Y meme here.
I know what I'm about. Don't worry.
Okay, so I think if we do that, we just need to actually plug in what's needed, right? So and deploy. I agree. You could deploy to multiple channels. It's weird,
Yeah.
but you could. I think we've got a good starting schema that we could start piping this through next week,
Yeah.
right? And then I think if you already have a CLI, right? What the hell does the Sherpa
There's a
CLI?
CLI there. I don't know. Stefan did most of it, I think. So
What does it do now?
that was a great question. It's been a while.
I don't even know what it would do right now.
I think it helps like in sync and install stuff. So like it kind of does some of the stuff now, I believe.
So then now what we're going to take, so we got to do two things
Look at
now.
that. Doctor does some kind of version thing and then a bunch of platform specific things. So I bet you like half
That's
the
all
code, half the
all
code
in.
is already here that to do what we want. We're just like,
I bet you a lot of that's in MAUI diff, the MAUI CLI now. Well,
Yeah.
I know it's in,
Yeah.
a bunch of it is.
yeah. So we'll have to decide. Maybe we want. I don't know. Maybe we want to use that for parts of it. I'm not sure yet.
Oh, we'd have an external. That might be bad too.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of hesitant to just do it that way.
Okay, so I'll finalize this because this pretty much Mac OS will be the same. Mac Catalyst will be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Android, we've got Can you even deploy Windows to there is nowhere else. Nobody deploys Windows.
There is a Windows. I haven't.
Beside the Windows Store, where else can you deploy? I'm going to defer. I hate.
Yeah.
Who cares
Yeah.
about Windows.
Well, I mean, we'll
I
see.
get it.
But
What
yeah,
else?
it's definitely not the first case we're looking for here.
So we can. I mean, we have to look at it. If we're going to do it, we have to kind of do something with it.
Well, I think the other thing. Yeah,
We can
no.
start with we honestly we can start with the only reason we can include Mac OS and Catalyst is
It's because
because
it's kind of similar.
they're the same.
Yeah,
Right.
they're slightly different, but it's fine.
build is more or less the same.
Yeah.
So
The certificates and provisioning stuff is a bit different, but it's the same like underlying mechanisms for like installing them and stuff.
So I think once we find, I'll finalize the schema. Right. I'll have it do a JSON schema draft.
Yep.
So we'll have that for next week. We kind of know what we want the CLI to look like. We can kind of work that into AI as we go through it. So next week we should be able to start coding, and then we can decide on things like, okay, where are we going to store this in Sherpa? How are we going to store this? We can use document DB, right? With
Yeah, I'm
SQL
already.
Cipher.
I'm already.
Did you do it?
Yeah, that's what's in there. That's what's in
No.
there. Yeah,
Oh my
that's what I
God.
just said at the beginning of the show, and you're kind of glossed over it, and I thought, maybe,
Oh,
it
I'm
wasn't that
sorry.
exciting. Yeah,
Oh no, okay, I didn't hear it. But it's great.
that's the local store vault, the local whatever. It's
Yeah,
using all that stuff.
DocDB is getting
Yep.
some major
Yep.
major traction now. It's turned out to be pretty good. All
Yeah.
it started as a SQLite prototype 2 years ago. I think I was complaining to you about it.
Yeah.
Now it
it's-
exists.
That's the go.
Now it does everything.
Yeah,
Now it does
truly.
everything.
I'm using it in all the like other small little stuff I'm like coding up on the side for fun.
Well, there you go. So check it out. Check out DocumentDB. So next week we can start planning CLI. I mean, that one's going to be pretty boring to watch. And I think we're covered pretty much. So we could probably start on the Sherpa packing portion of it.
Yeah, I think we should do that because honestly, for the CLI stuff and for like the writing the code to like parse this and unpack it and do the work.
Actually, this should be easy because if we do each one as a separate document DB like instance, right? So you could create a SQLite cipher, stick a password in it, stick document DB at it. Then we don't even have to deal with any encryption. The ball of mud is an encrypted SQLite database.
Yeah, true.
And then document DB just pulls it out like normal.
Yep.
So then we have nothing. It's basically you create the password cipher and document DB can open the SQLite and say, here you go. This is what you want, right?
Yeah. The and then like the actual like implementation of we have these key stores, we need to put them somewhere. We have these provisioning profiles to install. Like that can all be just like AI'd. Like nobody wants to see writing the code for that. That's all easy to do.
I mean, there's really two sources of documents here, right? The environment. So this is the whatever we're going to call it, right? The
environment, I think, is appropriate.
Yeah. So this is your environment. That includes everything for Android, iOS, etc. Includes all your replace tokens. And then we have this build/replace tokens at the global end, right? So this is more key value than anything.
Yeah.
But then we take all of the build variables, the global ones, smack it together with this, and that's what gives you the document.
So you're thinking, okay. Yeah, I have to think that through a bit in terms of making sure I'm on the same page as you are.
Well, why don't we park it there anyways?
Yeah.
We can come back to this next week. But I think I'm going to be able to easily put this into a JSON schema. I think this is a great starting point. Even if we have to add stuff, it's a great starting point. I can have that Claude, jamming this out next week, but this is going to be a boring session.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
So we can let that go, and then we can start to plan out what the UI looks like and any architecture there.
The other thing that we need to think a little bit more about too. So I still do think for the build phase, especially for the MAUI platform or a .NET platform, there is some opportunity here to add either a NuGet package or something so that this all flows nicely into like the deploy phase and stuff like that. I haven't fully formed it. I've been thinking about it. Well, we can talk a little bit more about that too.
All right. John's
and it might not even be a NuGet. It might honestly be, because one of the things you can do is you can basically write like a targets file and you can pass it into the .NET build invocation that you run, and it'll kind of add that to the mix. And so that targets, like we could own that in the tool. The user would never even see it, but the build invocation would say like, oh, you're also going to basically reference this targets file, which will then help us export some MS build like item group stuff and properties so that we can capture them from the build and use them for the deploy phase without even the user having to do anything. They wouldn't even have to it's all just happening for them.
No idea where you're going with
this.
Yeah. But that's all right.
Yep.
That's all right. I don't have to know.
That's good.
Well, I have to know if I've got to AI code it next week. But for now,
yeah.
I'm probably good. So I'm going to hide this guy. And now I'm going to look at my monitor. It's weird. I have to look at, I can't like talk if I can't see you. It's weird.
Yeah, no, I always like have to pop open on meetings and stuff. I need to see the people. If they're on screen, I need to see them.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
so that was awesome. We went over an hour. Hopefully people enjoy this. And if you have suggestions, I'm going to add the links. Everybody should know where Sherpa is.
They
It's under Redth redth/maui.sherpa.
Did I ever buy a domain for that? I don't know. I should.
I don't know. Did you?
Well, there's.
I know you've got a website.
Yeah.
It's at GitHub. It's on the GitHub thing, but yeah.
I don't think I
don't
have. I should get a domain. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Cool. Thanks.
do your thing.
See you next time on Gone.net.